Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's a beautiful, albeit crisp morning in southern Maine, but a great opportunity to jump out there and talk about some of the exciting things that Tesla's doing. I know there's some changes coming up in 23, a couple vehicles. They offered this crazy option on the Model S and X, if that's in your budget or if that's what you're looking to get this year. But also some of the safety news. And we've talked about this a couple of different times in a couple of different videos. But a little incident came out this past couple of weeks ago that kind of really brought it to light again. So sit back, relax. You guys are watching the Tall Tesla Guy. So I'm going to start right out with the safety. I've put out videos before, if you've been following the channel, talking about safety with the car. Now, this particular vehicle, we have the Tesla Model Y, we have a 2022, and it happens to have the highest safety rating from the NHTSA. Now, 5-star across the board, but more importantly, too, it was one of the only vehicles SUV-wise that they were not able to flip over in their tests, which to me is important. I love the fact that we have this panoramic glass roof. Again, if you've seen the videos, you know I talk about it ad nauseum, but I would hate to flip upside down in the car if, the roof was going to collapse. So it's good to know that Teslas in general, specifically this vehicle, can withstand 5 times the weight of the vehicle upside down before collapsing the roof in or whatever. It's not to say the glass won't break, but at least it's not going to collapse on itself. It's super important to me anyway. And now, I'll also say that being that it was the only car they weren't able to flip over, I think there's a good chance that I wouldn't be able to, or at least I thought that. And then I saw this clip out in California where this, I believe it's a Model S or an X, but I'm not positive, but he drove it off a cliff. Now, I didn't want to get into the details of why or what happened. Awful situation. But what I'm thinking, though, and the first thing in my mind is, outside of I hope everybody is safe, is that they actually were. And I thought that part of it was crazy. It was a 250-foot drop off the side of a cliff, and the people were able to get out of the car, or once they got out of the car, they could walk away. Now, they were not unscathed. They definitely needed medical attention, but my first thought was there's no way they could have survived something like that, and they did. And a lot of that, I believe, has to do with the safety of the vehicle. Real structurally sound. A lot of it has to do with the battery component. The battery compartment part of it, it actually makes it rigid in the bottom of the vehicle. It's got a really low center of gravity. And then with the Giga Press, Tesla is able to produce a single cast frame. Now, the single cast frame just makes it stronger. It also saves on parts and robots, like Elon said, but it also makes it stronger so you don't have those points where it can just basically fail. It's got the compression points in it like any other vehicle. Now, I'll say you get into an accident, you're going to be spending a lot of money to fix it, but more importantly, you're going to be able to walk away from it, which in my mind is the reason why I feel safe in the vehicle. There's safety features in the car anyway, like you find in any normal vehicle, plus it's got accident avoidance system, stuff like that. As he pushes towards more full self-driving, the enhanced autopilot, that sort of stuff, the car is going to do everything it can to avoid hitting anything, let alone another vehicle. So aside from a complete operator error or operator intervention where people are abusing the full self-driving, abusing the car's features, functions, capabilities, I believe the car will keep me safe. So at least that's something that makes me feel better about it. You can see the car seat. We've talked about that before. We have a toddler that drives around with us all the time. My wife's in the car. I've got precious cargo in here, and I want to know that I'm safe. And it's an important thing for me, and I'm happy to see that Tesla's continuing with that safety record as they get the highest rating of all of their vehicles that they have. So that alone is something that's super important for me, to me. And that it kind of steps into some of the things that Elon's doing. You guys probably saw in the news. I mean, they have 1.5 million vehicles delivered in 22. I did a video a couple of years back in 2020, when Tesla first got to 500,000 vehicles. They were like 495 delivered for the year, and it was a huge milestone. Not too long after that, into 21, they were able to do that in like half a year or in a quarter. And then, of course, now at 1.5. I mean, it just shows the scale of the company, what they're doing, and then also how everybody's kind of jumping on board and sort of staying here. I'm not sure I know of anybody that has a Tesla, that drives it around, that gets the opportunity to be in it, either way, that doesn't just love it. I loved it the very first drive I took it in it, and then my wife jumped on board pretty quick after that. This is our second one, like you guys know, and I will, as long as I can anyway, be a Tesla driver. I just really enjoyed the driving experience with it. So, as Tesla scales up their 4680 battery production, which is something they talked about a couple of years ago, it's going to give more range to the vehicle. I know they're producing it down in Giga Austin. These batteries are an amazing technological advancement, and it's going to give one thing that everybody is kind of hung up on is more range in the car. Now, currently Teslas have more range than any other electric vehicle out there. But realistically, it's the supercharging network that gives you the ability to kind of drive cross country at that. 330 miles of listed range is probably closer to maybe 290 in good conditions, maybe 300. I did a range test and got about 280 off of it, and I had about 7% battery left, which should give me about 30 miles, which would put me closer to 300. So now that particular day was 50 degrees. I wasn't racing people. I was just driving normal. But it's good to know that normal driving is going to give me about 300 miles of range in this car. The 4680 battery was supposed to increase that by 20, 30, 40%. Now, I know they've had issues with scalability, the production, the lithium, all that sort of stuff. But now they're getting to the point where they're producing their own lithium. They've joked that Elon is giving himself the ability to print money, which all the other EVs are going to need this, and they're going to need the battery, the lithium for their batteries. So, whatever it is, either way, it's going to hopefully lead to mass production of the 4680 battery, which will give us, kind of more range, or at least the opportunity to get more range. I'm excited about that anyway, but honestly, I would have taken this car if it only had 100 miles of range. It's just so much fun to drive. It's so much fun with the technological advances that they have in the car, everything they do and over-the-air updates. I talked a little bit about what's coming in 23. Now, we're in 23 now, but you get things that they do. Now, Tesla's not known for major year changes on the vehicles, so you're not likely to see anything exterior that changes, maybe a little bit better cameras, slightly different headlights, that kind of thing, removing parking sensors a little bit. But outside of that sort of stuff, Tesla does interior updates. They do updates with the software, with the screens, with rear screens, all that kind of stuff that you get in the Model S and X. And one of the things that they threw out there just recently, within the last week, is the option to get a round steering wheel on your Model S and X again. Now, this came out a little over a year ago with this complete refresh of the S and the X. They took away the steering wheel that was round and put a yoke steering wheel in there. I think it looks great, but people just either loved it or hated it. And the people that hated it were vocal enough that a year later, Elon is giving people the option to do the round steering wheel again. It's not common for him to do variations. I guess there's no a la carte with Tesla. You basically get the car, and they do that as a production scale method so that they can produce as many vehicles as they need to, that sort of stuff. But he's giving you the option to get the round steering wheel again, which in my mind is an indication that Tesla is being a little more nimble or something, maybe. It's an odd thing for him to do because he was such a proponent of the yoke, especially for the Cybertruck. But either way, a couple of different changes, a couple of different options. And honestly, I think there's so many different EVs coming out there. I know there's so many government incentives and all this stuff for these auto manufacturers to produce these EVs, but they're doing it. And what I'm excited or happy about is that these new EVs, whether it's an F-150 Lightning, the Hummer EV, which isn't new, but the Dodge Ram EV truck, stuff like that these companies are producing is going to give, kind of put the fire to Tesla a little bit so that they will start making some of these changes, making some of these additions, jumping on top of the technology. Because honestly, if you look at it, the Cybertruck came out a couple of years ago. That was the first electric pickup truck. And since then, there's 5 different varieties of other pickup trucks, including the Rivian. Now, I'm not going to get into the scaling ability or the scalability or their inability to scale, I should say, that Rivian is facing or dealing with. But if you take that part of it away, then you end up with just another EV opportunity to get a pickup truck when the Cybertruck that was announced first is not out yet. Which is a long-winded way of saying that they had first mover advantage and they lost it. I'm a little disappointed in that part of it, just because I thought that Elon was kind of on the ball for his stuff, and now he's just not. It's that's frustrating, but at least so I talk about that a little bit just because I was super excited that Tesla was going to be the first ones to have it, and now they aren't. They don't. It's just one of those things. Is what it is, I guess. But either way, I still love the vehicle. We're 3 years into it. I mean, we have almost 20,000 miles on this one. We had another 15,000 on our other one, 10,000 or so. So 30,000 miles later, I can say I still love the car, love everything about it. Just one more thing that we can add to the list of things that throw that smile on the face. But either way, I could talk about these white seats. Now, these are seat covers, which you guys know or don't know. If you noticed before, I had black seats. Went for the seat covers. I didn't want to pay for the white seats anyway, but outside of paying for them, I was worried that I would get gene markings on them. We have a toddler. She's not ashamed to just drop her food on the seats to the ground and that kind of thing. I didn't think they would stand up. And honestly, these seat covers are great, but I am seeing gene marking on them. 100% for my wife and I, gene marks on the seats. And that's exactly what I was afraid of with the regular Tesla seats, and that's what you're getting with these. So I have a feeling that I get, when we win the lottery and get our Model X, I'm going to go for the brown, just for me. But either way, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys hanging with us and jumping in there, watching the videos. I hope you found it enjoyable, at least, if not pulled a little bit of a tidbit out of there. And at the very least, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, week, month so far, that you're staying safe out there. Thanks for watching, everybody.